Captain's log, sailing vessel Aequus. Day 4, self-tacking my ass. Seas 3 meters. It's raining now. The barometer is falling. Wind approximately 15 knots. Though still we are without wind instruments, so that is best guess. Currently reaching at 8 knots, bearing 062 degrees. I'm trying to make a bit more northerly progress in order to stay in the southerly low that's been propelling us so far, but the waves are making that difficult. Total engine hours, 2. Last night was the fastest sailing we've done yet. We averaged 8.7 knots all night. If you extrapolate that into a 24-hour day, that's 208 nautical miles per day. And as any sailor can tell you, a 200 nautical mile day is something to be celebrated. If we can keep up this pace, this will mark our first ever 200 nautical mile day on this boat. For what seems at first glance to be a floating apartment, she really does perform well. The boat is constantly outperforming the polders that I've entered into the PredictWind software. I'm not going to try and nudge them because I find it more satisfying to beat the little imaginary boat. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there exists a software program where you plug in all your boat's details, and using the predicted wind models, which there are 6 of them right now, it will show you the best course to take and tell you how fast you'll get to your destination. It's actually surprisingly accurate. And no, they're not paying me to say that. Note to self, ask PredictWind to pay me to say that. The autopilot is using a lot of power at this speed, so I've issued an order to start the generator at 12.8 volts. This being a lithium battery system, the voltages are just a bit higher than what we're used to with the old lead-acid type. The cool thing about lithium batteries that you couldn't do with lead-acid is we can take them all the way down to 10% with no long-term negative side effects. Try that with lead-acid, and you'll significantly shorten the lifespan. This, in effect, gives us more bang for the buck as we can use around 40% more of this battery. But when you factor in that it's triple the cost for the lithium batteries, you really need to amortize it out over the entire lifetime of the battery. They're supposed to last 15 years, which is another 50% life. So that's a lot of math to say these batteries are better and cool. So back to the story. Our heroes are using the generator to charge the batteries now. I forgot, however, to tell all of the crew to switch off the shore power and onto inverter before starting the charging system. So we wasted a couple hours of generator time last night. Not a big deal. There's lots of intricacies to this boat. The wind and sea state calmed down this morning to 16 knots and 2 meters, respectively. The wind is starting to clock south, which is making it very difficult to make any northerly progress, as this boat doesn't like to go directly downwind with that little self-tacking jib. Speaking of performance, in my opinion, this boat is missing a sail. We need something like an 8-ounce, 130% Genoa to handle 15 to 25 knots broad reaching, like most of our sailing now. I think this boat would really shine without the self-tacking jib. The self-tacking feature is nice for day sailing, but offshore it very much limits performance. and it's actually rather dangerous when considering the lack of the critical heave to that I explained in yesterday's log. Plus, it violently bangs from side to side if we're reaching too far downwind. It'll just jibe by itself. Bam, bam. Not good. I had Zach tie it off today. So now, instead of having a self-tacking jib, we have a run up to the front of the boat and untie the line before you think about tacking jib. Not a big fan. It's also tiny. Jib size is expressed as a percentage. Like when I said this boat needs a 130% Genoa, that percentage is simply the bottom of the sail, called the foot or the LP, the luff perpendicular, divided by the J, which is the distance from the front of the mast to the headstay. In layman's terms, if the sail just touches the mast, it's a 100% jib. If it extends past the mast, it's a 110, 120, 130, etc. And it gets a new name. Now it's a Genoa. No, I didn't make these rules up. Our jib is more like an 85%. And that missing 40% makes a hell of a difference when we're trying to go upwind and sailing in lighter winds and trying to go downwind. In my honest opinion, if I were to purchase a new boat, I would not request the self-tacking option. Please do remember the type of sailing that I'm doing is a little bit different than most who own a boat like this. We do have a code 0, but there's just a bit too much wind for that sail right now. I'm afraid I'll blow it out if I try to use it. I have no idea what it costs, but it's carbon and it looks pretty inexpensive. James, the owner James, said it can be used until 15 knots apparent, but I think it's probably more like 12. It's such a powerful sail. I'll spare you the description and let you Google that one yourself. We got spooled today, meaning a fish took off with our lure and line. There wasn't even a fight. It screamed for about 90 seconds and just snapped at the end. Must have been a big one. Marlin, sailfish, something like that. I wouldn't even know what to do with a fish that big. We have one more reel worth of line, but I'm starting to worry that we're just too fast to fish. Maybe we should slow down. We need to eat. Speaking of eating, I've been cooking all of our dinners. Zach does breakfast. I don't really mind, as I despise doing dishes. Our new crew, Yoni, is settling in well. He's apt to learn, and the crew is teaching him knots, sail trim, fishing, etc. He's a quick study, and we're very happy to have him here. He's always got a smile on his face. Now for the bad news. We lost the coffee maker last night in a glorious explosion. I'm very thankful for the 220-volt baby shop vac. We still have an AeroPress, so those that drink coffee can. I'm very happy I drink tea. Nobody has been seasick, which is fairly amazing. Usually it's about 40 to 50% of people get sick out here. So for all 6 of us not to be sick, that's pretty cool. For the last day or so, we've been riding the 40-degree latitude line. And riding that line is like walking into a casino. You may get lucky and strike it big. You may get unlucky, but whatever happens, it's going to be a roller coaster. So far, our coaster has been propelling us upwards. And as my buddy Isaac says, what goes up must come down. But before it does, my time has come for watch again. So that's it for day 4 of this captain's log. What is up? Welcome to my editing suite. This is my navigation station editing suite thing. I've got a Rode SM7 here that I do all the voiceover stuff on, and then that goes through a Rodecaster, goes to my computer. I know it looks really dirty, but there's a form to this function, or a function to the form. I'm not sure which way that is. I just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate you watching these videos. The feedback that I'm getting is really cool. So thank you for the comments. Please leave a comment if you like it, and don't forget to hit the like button. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, hippie beads, as always.